Top 10 movies you shouldn't watch alone. 1. The Ring, 2002. Becca and Katie, two teenage females, talk about an urban legend about a cursed videotape that kills its viewer in 7 days. Katie, who saw it a week prior, is slain that evening by an invisible force. During Katie's memorial service, her mother requests that her sister Rachel, a writer working in Seattle, look into her daughter's passing. At precisely the same time and night that Katie died, Rachel learns that all of Katie's friends perished in strange circumstances. Rachel visits the Shelter Mountain Inn where the video was viewed by Katie and her companions. She locates and views the tape, which features odd and unsettling imagery. Despite her initial doubts, Rachel soon starts to encounter paranormal activities connected to the recording. 2. Paranormal Activity, 2007. While this movie might look really different from the other movies that you have seen, it is so close to real-life event and that makes viewers wet themselves screaming at this discovered footage movie and blaming loved ones for the soda spill in the cinema. After moving into their new San Diego pad, Katie and Micah are motivated to install cameras by a series of strange occurrences. What take place? After gazing at her husband while he sleeps for 2 hours, Katie is thrown from the room. The spirits get all kinky and start biting poor Katie, which exacerbates the situation. Even though they appeared tough during screenings, grown guys eventually went to bed and quietly held their pillows. 3. Drag Me to Hell, 2009. We are reminded to always be aware of the people we wrong. Christine's idyllic life is thrown off when an elderly woman in need of a house loan extension becomes desperate. Christine is cursed by the elderly woman, who will torment her ruthlessly and ultimately condemn her to an eternity in hell, when she denies her in an attempt to impress her boss. She spends the next 3 days battling bad spirits and attempting to break the curse for good. We can only imagine the horrifying depictions of demons she encounters in this life, let alone what lies beyond. This movie stands as one of the best and scary horror films. 4. Halloween, 1978. Even after over 45 years, John Carpenter's original Halloween remains one of the scariest films ever filmed. Many Halloween reboots and sequels have ensured that Michael Myers will always be a part of slasher films. Although Michael has grown increasingly aggressive and determined over the years, the original movie's accidental nature is a big part of what makes it so horrifying. At this stage, Michael isn't very analytical, and he genuinely feels like an evil that is going on an uncontrollably indiscriminate rampage. Carpenter's strategies take a straightforward approach that highlights Michael's presence. It could be difficult for viewers who are at home alone to see Michael go on a violent rampage because he genuinely feels like a boogeyman who has been brought to life. 5. The Exorcist, 1973. It's the ultimate horror movie with everything. This exorcism story is partially based on real-life incidents. When little Reagan, Linda Blair, begins acting strangely, levitating, speaking in tongues, her anxious mother, Ellen Burstyn, goes to the doctor but gets nowhere. However, a local priest played by Jason Miller believes the girl might be under the devil's control. When the priest requests that an exorcism be performed, the church dispatches an expert, Max von Sydow, to assist with the challenging task. Watching The Exorcist is a true experience, especially for people who get spooked easily. 6. The Conjuring, 2013. The Perron family, consisting of Roger, Ron Livingston, Carolyn, Lily Taylor, and their 5 daughters, relocate to a new house in the rural area of Rhode Island during the early 1970s, as seen in The Conjuring. They discovered that after getting Annabelle as a present, the doll would always show up somewhere else from its original location. This prompted them to consult a medium, who revealed that the doll belonged to Annabelle Higgins, a lonely girl. The hauntings quickly turned aggressive, despite their initial belief that they could aid the spirit. Soon after, they begin to notice odd sounds and odors, as well as stopped clocks, slammed doors, and shadowy figures. Thus, the Perrons seek assistance from paranormal investigators Ed Warren, Patrick Wilson, and Lorraine, Vera Farmiga. The Warrens think that a demon is behind all of this, and when Carolyn gets possessed, they have to seek church permission before they can perform an exorcism. 7. The Nun, 2018. The main character of the first movie is Sister Irene, a nun who goes on a missionary trip with Father Burke, a priest, to look into the suicide of a sister in a convent in Romania. They quickly learn that the abbey is haunted by a demon named Valak, who is taking over the bodies of its residents. In brief but powerful glances throughout several films in the Conjuring world, the nun, her cheekbones sticking out like daggers from her chalky white skin, her eyes a piercing yellow behind her habit, and her voracious, bloodied fangs, served as a very unnerving image. How far does the nun's solo film go in terms of terror, considering she was clearly the most terrifying aspect of The Conjuring 2? If you're the fearful kind, you shouldn't watch this alone. 8. Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. There is hardly another movie that can leave you feeling as exposed and afraid for your safety as Nightmare on Elm Street, with sleep and dreams at the heart of the legendary slasher film Shocks. With razor fingers and all, the malevolent spirit known as Freddy Krueger is coming for you, whether it be in the bathtub, in class, or from the comfort of your bedroom. Even though there have been innumerable sequels to this movie, the original Krueger is still remembered in the annals of slasher horror because of its deep and enduring impact on audiences. Simply said, since then, sleeping has changed. 9. Insidious, 2010. With good cause, Insidious is regarded as one of the scariest films ever made. From the opening titles to the end of the film, everything about it is terrifying. The definition of fear was elevated in Insidious, particularly in the context of a haunted house. The terrifying animals and the place where awful atrocities were perpetrated gave rise to nightmares in the film. After Josh and Renee Lambert move into a new home, Insidious follows them, their daughter Callie, and their sons Dalton and Foster. Once there, they begin to encounter the typical unexplained paranormal activities, such as moving objects and unusual noises. The twist then occurs, just when the viewer is about to lose interest. Dalton, the Lambert family's kid, enters an odd coma. When they escape the new home, they discover that the issues they were leaving behind had followed them there. It turns out that their son, not the house, is the one who is possessed. 10. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. A villain is a must for every horror film, be it a spirit, ghost, item, or, in the case of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just a guy. Gunnar Hansen, the man who would come to be known as Leatherface, gained popularity as a villain among viewers because, despite his brutality and intimidating appearance, he is still a regular person like you and me. In this timeless horror film, Sally and her brother Franklin discover that their grandfather's tomb might have been vandalized. They then board a van with 3 of their friends to go look for evidence. They take up a hitchhiker who turns out to be psychotic while traveling. They go to Sally and Franklin's grandfather's abandoned home after forcing him out of the van. Soon after, they run upon Leatherface, the psychotic cannibal whose mask is composed of human flesh, and his similarly deranged family. This nasty madam chases them one by one and murders them with great brutality. Let me know which of these movies is the most in the comments section. If you enjoy this video, just hit that subscribe button and get notified anytime I upload a new video.